Hey guys, I'm Philip Wilder, and I hate my boss. He's so frustrating and annoying and... Just kidding. My boss is Nate Herbst. You might have watched some of his videos. He's really awesome, and he's actually not my boss. He would hate me even calling him my boss. But he's the closest thing I have to a boss since he's the founder of this ministry. However, you probably have a boss, and I've had many bosses throughout my life, and probably just like you, there are bosses that I've had that I did not like. Well, I want to share with you today 3 reasons why Jesus is the best boss you could ever possibly have. Let's get to it. So today we're going to be looking at Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. Now I'll read it for us here real quick, and then I'll explain how it all makes sense with what we're going to talk about. It says, "No one can serve 2 masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money." Now, I know this verse brought up 2 options, God or money, but there's many other things that could be our masters. We could be our own masters. Our pleasures could be our masters. Finances, yes, of course, can be our masters. But so can social pressures or fame or adventure, whatever it is. All these things can control our lives. Now, masters are a little bit more extreme than a boss because a boss can only control your workplace, but a master can control your entire life. So it's very important that we make sure that we have the right boss or the right master leading us through life. Now, I want to propose here why Jesus is going to be the best master or the best boss. But before I do that, I want to ask you a quick question. Who would you rather, say you inherited some large corporation, but you don't know how to run a big corporation, so you're going to put someone as the figurehead of that corporation? Are you going to pick someone who has maybe been leading one corporation for 7 years, we'll say? Or would you rather pick someone who's led thousands of corporations for 100 years, 50 years, whatever? That one person who's led that one corporation, say he's led it okay, but there's been a lot of difficulties and a lot of problems, and it's not really going anywhere too good. Or that other person who led all those other corporations, you see every single time it just starts shooting up and the profits increase every single time. You're definitely going to pick that person who's led a whole bunch of corporations. Now, the twist here is you are that first person. You've been leading your life for who knows how long. Maybe 7 years, maybe 20 years, maybe 30, 40, 50 years. It's hard to determine when you start leading your own life, but I'd say maybe at the age of 16. Regardless, you have only led your own life, and hopefully, if you've really been following Christ, you haven't even been leading your life. But you've only been leading your life for this long. Would you rather trust you and what you understand in this small time frame, or trust this other person, Jesus, who has led thousands of lives, basically, and has led them to great success and to amazing and life-giving lives? It's a lot of life there. Obviously, we would trust the person who has led thousands of corporations for a long time. It just makes sense. Well, I want to share with us 3 reasons why Jesus is really the best boss. The first reason is that Jesus cares far more about you and your heart than he does about the task at hand. Now, this is really important. No matter how good of a boss you might have in life, he will never choose you over the company. His loyalty is to the company, not to you. Though he might really care about you and might sacrifice in many ways to care about you, he's never going to care about you so much so that the whole company falls apart. That's just not his job, unfortunately. But fortunately, Jesus does care so much about your heart, and he's never going to ask you to do something that will hurt your heart or will hurt you deep in a fundamental way. Now, this is different than challenging you. We'll talk about that in a second. But your boss will oftentimes press you to do hard work. He'll make you do lots of overtime at the expense of spending time with your family. But Jesus will never do this. He will have the exact right balance. And this leads into the second reason why Jesus is the best boss. And that is that Jesus knows perfectly how to challenge you. Now, there's two elements to challenging. One is that you need to challenge people hard into things that they're not comfortable doing. The other element is you need to encourage them as they're doing that. Now, there's a very fine line because you can encourage and support someone so much so that it's not even a challenge anymore. Or you could not encourage anyone and just expect them to reach these really high levels and they're just floundering the whole way and they feel very insecure about it all. Well, Jesus knows perfectly how to balance both that encouragement and that challenge so that you feel the support that you need while also being pushed forward into things that you're maybe not comfortable with, but things that you end up being able to do. Sure, maybe you'll fail here or there, but Jesus knows perfectly how to ride that challenging level. No one wants a boss who just only challenges them and only pushes them and only pressures them to go further and farther without giving you any of the support because you just feel like you can't live up to these standards. Also, no one hates it when a boss never challenges them. Sure, it might make work easy, but if a boss never challenges you, never presses you to reach higher levels or to be a better worker or individual, then you're just going to stay and plateau at that same level. We all want to be challenged to one degree or another, and Jesus can do that perfectly. Now, the third reason why Jesus would make the best boss is because Jesus, he knows exactly what you will be best doing and knows how to put you in that exact spot. Now, no matter what job we have here, there's always going to be one element or another that either we don't feel qualified for or capable of doing, and another element that we do feel capable of that we just don't get the opportunity to do. No matter what, our jobs don't feel like they fit us perfectly. And Jesus, he's perfectly able to lead us to where we can be maximized in our abilities while still be challenged as well too. But for a lot of people, they might feel like maybe they're an introvert and they really do not like working with people, but yet their boss keeps putting them at the cash register. And they're just like, I don't want to do this anymore, but they can't move to that other position that they really want to do because there's no availability. Or in the same way, maybe they feel like they're being pressed to do all this paperwork and it drains the life out of them to be doing all this paperwork, but yet they keep getting pushed into that sort of situation over and over, and they just wish they had a better or different job. Well, Jesus, yes, he's going to challenge us to do things that maybe we don't like because he wants us to grow in those areas. But he's also going to lead us into areas where we feel like our strengths are being utilized. He's going to lead us into places where we can make a big difference and feel confident about our work and also feel impressed and amazed at how God is working through us to equip us to be even better. These are just 3 reasons why I think Jesus is the best boss. And there's many other reasons, including the fact that Jesus loves you and cares more about you than you do yourself. So surely we can trust him to be the master of our lives. If we let other bosses lead us in the workplace, then why can't we trust Jesus to lead us all the time? If he's the best boss and much better at leading our lives than we are at leading our own lives. So Jesus is the best boss because 1, he cares about us and our heart more than he does about the task at hand. He's not going to push you into the Great Commission so much so that you end up just feeling hurt and broken. He's going to gently encourage you into that. Secondly, Jesus cares more. He knows perfectly how to challenge you and encourage you. He knows that perfect balance. And thirdly, Jesus knows exactly the spot that will be the best fit for you. He knows how to utilize your strengths. Well, I hope this encourages you to trust Jesus and let him be the boss of your life. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.